Hello, everyone. Welcome to Toolkit Talks. My name is Jennifer Smith, and I'm a Public Health Resilience Coordinator with the Office of Public Health Practice Planning and Local Partnerships at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, and with CoCares, the Colorado Alliance for Resilient and Equitable Systems, serving the healthcare and public health workforce. This is video 3 of the Racial Justice Competency Model Implementation Toolkit for Public Health. This toolkit was brought to us by the Public Health Training Center Network, the National Network of Public Health Institute, and the National Coordinating Center for Public Health Training. So our video topic list, as you can see, today is video 3. We are going to be discussing when to use the RJCM. Videos 1 and 2 were an introduction to the Racial Justice Competency Model and an overview of racial justice competencies. And then we discussed what is racial justice and terminology surrounding that. Next video will be video 4, how to use the RJCM. Video 5 will be surveys and self-assessments. And video 6 will be assessing the impact and next steps. So when to use the RJCM? The Racial Justice Competency Model is a useful tool for any public health organization that wants to ensure that their staff, policies, and programs are addressing systemic racism and other forms of inequality. It can be used as a resource for individuals who want to learn more knowledge and skills but don't know where or how to start. Can be a resource for organizations that have declared racism as a public health crisis but need guidance in the next steps. It can be a resource for organizations that are pursuing accreditation or reaccreditation. And again, they say success is based on 3 foundational elements, which we talk about in video 1: commitment, assessment, and implementation. So you really need to review these as a first step to make sure you have a good foundation for starting this process. So there are intended uses of the RJCM. The top intended use is to develop job descriptions and use during the hiring process. I believe that is just to make sure we have the top candidates who really put an eye on racial justice and equity. You can use it, though, as a performance review of staff, personal skill improvement or assessment, organizational policy assessment, organizational strategic planning, planning and design of workforce trainings for use in an educational setting, or for use in policy advocacy. So, use of the RJCM for organizational change. Organizational strategic planning. The RJCM can be integrated into the process of developing an organization's strategic plan and help to update its core values and guiding principles. Organizational internal policy assessment. The RJCM can be used by organizations to evaluate their policies and practices related to the 5 competencies and identify areas of improvement. Partnership and community engagement. Organizations can use the RJCM to develop communications and engagement tools that pull from the competencies to create messages to its collaborative partners about its internal organizational changes that center racial justice and health equity. Use of the RJCM for workforce development. Capacity building of current staff and workforce. Update staff performance reviews to assess knowledge and capacity of staff related to racial justice. It can be used as a framework for creating competency-based trainings and training plans that could include pre- and post-assessments to measure changes in capacity. It can be used in recruitment and hiring practices, and development of new job descriptions and its hiring processes. It can be used for personal skill improvement or assessment. A guide in creating a self assessment to identify the level of competency across its domains and to outline possible areas for improvement or expertise development. Use of the RJCM for policy advocacy and programming. Advocacy and policy education. It can be used to inform its stance, strategy regarding proposed policy at the local, state, or federal levels. Strategy development within policy teams and coalitions to impact systemic changes. To educate political officials regarding the needs for racial justice, assess the current policies, and identify areas for change. Programming. Support the development of community interventions or programs for capacity building regarding racial justice and health equity concepts. Identify areas for improvement of current programs. Evaluate program outcomes and ensure that the organization is meeting its goals and objectives. The use of the RJCM for educational settings. Capacity building of current staff and workforce. It can be used to update staff performance reviews to assess knowledge and capacity of staff related to racial justice. It can be a framework for creating competency-based trainings and training plans that could include pre- and post-assessments to measure changes in capacity. It can be used for recruitment and hiring practices, such as development of new job descriptions and its hiring processes, or create or adapt an assessment tool for determining the level of competency of potential staff members. It can be used for personal skill improvement or assessment, like a self-assessment to identify the level of competency across its domains and to outline possible areas for improvement or expertise development. So these are all the types of when and intended uses of this toolkit. So again, please go through all of these, use the competencies, use the information in here to start getting an understanding of what this toolkit is about and how to go about implementing this in your organization. So thanks again to the Public Health Training Center Network, the National Coordinating Center for Public Health Training, and the National Network of Public Health Institutes for all of this great information. And again, this gaining knowledge and skills around racial justice is a lifelong process, and everyone starts and progresses at a different pace. So they encourage you to explore these competencies across levels as it makes sense for you and your organization to do so. Please visit their website to give any feedback or information. Let them know you're using this toolkit and how to make it even better. So our next video will be how to use the Racial Justice Competency Model. Today we talked about when to use the model, when they intended for this to be used. And then the next video again will be how to use the Racial Justice Competency Model and that next step. So thank you so much for being here today and watching our video, and we hope you have a good one. Thank you so much.